This is Family Time 174. We're continuing our look at responsible decision making. Specifically, we're looking at opposing views. So much conflict in the world is because of opposing views and because we, as human beings, don't put in enough time and effort to see things from other people's perspective. It's an issue of empathy, something that we've talked about a lot. And empathy to me is still the pinnacle of human potential. That we have the ability to try to recognize things from someone else's perspective. It's such a worthy pursuit because we can't fully attain it. Even if we have similar experiences to someone else, we're going to view things through our own lens. We're going to be influenced by our background, by just sort of our natural base state, our emotional state, those sorts of things. So we're never going to fully get there. We can't ever fully know exactly how it feels from someone else's point of view, but we should try. So much conflict exists, and it's easy to chalk it up to this person is wrong or this side is wrong and this side or this viewpoint is trying to attack me. I really believe we shouldn't chalk up to malice anything that could be just as easily chalked up to ignorance. When I say ignorance, it's typically just not having enough information, not taking the time to really study and learn and recognize what an opposing view is trying to say. Too often, we just want to say, well, that side is wrong. This is what I believe. This is what I think. The other side is wrong. But if we really took the time to study and learn about the other side with an open mind, I think we can do two very important things. One, we might actually, if we're honestly coming into something with an open mind, we might actually learn something and change our perspective a little bit, which is a good thing to do. It gets so glorified digging in our heels and not backing down and saying, this is the way it is and I'm never relenting. We see that so often in media and in politics, even sports shows now, like on ESPN or something. I have a hard time watching a lot of the talking head sports shows because it's just, I have a strong opinion, I'm going to yell it at you, you have a strong opinion, you yell it at me, and people watch it. But it drives me kind of crazy because it's not, let's sit down and have a discussion about this. Let me come in with an open mind. I actually think that's far more engaging and exciting, but it's hard. We don't often want to do it. It's a lot easier just dig in our heels and yell at the other side about anything. If we can take the time and say, okay, let me really, really understand what you're saying. Let me really try to go through to my head and be objective and try to take my initial emotions out of it, we might actually alter our perspective. Or at the very least, if we're going through what the opposing viewpoint is and really looking at it, and we decide that, nope, I do agree with what I had initially felt, at least we have some basis for that now. It's not just because someone told me this or, well, this is just what my initial belief was, so I'm just going to ride that out no matter what. At least we can say, well, I've examined these opposing views, and I have decided that this really solidifies what I believe. It's an important process. That's an important part of being emotionally mature, is trying to understand opposing views. So that's all I really want you to do, is I want you to try to practice that. I want you to pick some sort of issue, preferably like a social issue that's in the media. And you don't even have to say, this is how I feel about this. But I want you to try to look at what are the opposing views around this. This is a topic that's maybe in the news, whatever. And here are two opposing views. Far too often, we break things down into just black or white, left or right. I mean, that's what we do. It's very easy to break things down in just two sides versus each other. That's not always accurate, but take two opposing viewpoints of something. You don't have to put your emotion into it. Here's what I believe, but I want you to try to identify why both of those viewpoints exist. That's it. Why do you think they both exist? Why does each side have that view? That's a very good process to start going through. We can say, all right, even though I maybe believe this, and here's why I believe these things, or here's why people who tend to believe like I do believe these things, here is why the other side might believe this. And I think when we do that, we usually discover that most of us are reacting to things based on very, very similar emotions, very, very similar human needs. We all have things like wanting to belong and be accepted. We all want a sense of security. So we sometimes go about getting those things in different ways, but it's really the same human needs we're trying to meet. And if we can recognize that, if we want to connect with someone who has an opposing view, or even try to get someone else to think about something in a different way, it is much easier and much healthier to appeal to their beliefs, their emotions, and their human needs than it is to just be combative. When we do that, we only create more opposition, and the other side only digs in deeper, as opposed to trying to appeal to people's, I think, generally good nature and their needs. So that's all we're doing this week. Let's pick something and kind of break it down. What are the opposing views? Why might those views exist? What needs are they trying to meet? What emotions are tied to the decisions they're making, the feelings that they have? Until next time, much love.